Good day, dear students. Today we are going to talk about culture-bound terms, and I do hope you will get some information about today's term. So let's begin. Equivalent lacking words, especially, are called unfindable words or culture-bound words, like matryoshka, Christmas, kimono, that belong to our culture. Equivalent lacking words include, for example, neologisms, newly coined words, dialect words, slangs, taboo words, and so on. The reasons for having equivalent lacking words can be that lack of similar things in target culture, lack of corresponding in one word in the second language. Earlier, other words and expressions used to denote culture-specific terms, especially Florin, the other scientists worked on this aspect. Equivalent lacking words are sometimes called untranslatable words. So let's talk about the classification of culture-bound words. A lot of scientists give different classifications. According to semantic field, culture-bound words are classified into there may be toponymy, geographical terms. So place names, especially one delivered from one topographical terms. The next one is anthroponyms, or people's names like Alexandra, Hamilton, or Victor Hugo, and so on. The next one is zoonames, or animal names, kangaroo, grizzly, or cougar, and so on, which cannot be translated into another language. The next one is social terms, Государственная Дума, House of Commons, Oli Majlis, and so on. They are also accepted to reality, which is culture-bound words. Military terms like Исаул, подполковник, Lance of Corporal are accepted as culture-bound words. The next you see on the screen is educational terms, junior high school, 11 plus, which doesn't exist in other countries, and that's why they are said to be culture-bound words. Traditions and customs terms, Halloween and Masnitsa are one of them that can be included into culture-bound words belong to another ethics. Acronyms are the names of institutions and organizations. History terms such as Civil War, War of Independence, Великая Отечественная война are considered to be cultural-bound words. Or words for everyday use like cuisine or clothing, for example, sushi, kilt, or valenki, lapti, belong to different ethics, which doesn't exist in the second nation's life. So titles of headlines like New York Times or Война и мир, and they are called culture-bound terms. Culture-bound terms characterized by location and time. So let's look at according to the local coloring, let's look at the classification of them. So some scientists say exotisms are also culture-bound words. For example, bonsai, this kind of exotism exists only in special places and you cannot translate them into several languages. So barbarism is words that from other languages comes from other languages, and for example, déjà vu French word, but still each people of different nations use this word. Or neologisms like junk food, internet are also accepted to be cultural bound words. And when we speak about categorization of neologisms, we can see the different kind of classifications. They can be proper neologisms, transnominations, semantic innovations, and so on. Some scientists say historisms are also called culture-bound words, and which denote to realities that no longer exist. Historism, words that belong to only history. Historism can be some kind of words you can see on the screen, and for example, some kind of some kind of old clothes that don't exist in our life, or some kind of professions that don't exist in our life. And they also include archaisms. And Olga Denti also outlines several categories of realia. Physical, geographical can be, for example, sequoia. Look at the tree. Sequoia. Tree is called sequoia. And so we cannot translate into English or into Uzbek or into other languages. So when we speak about everyday life, things like paprika, or work, or art and culture, we can see a lot of culture-bound words. What about political and societal terms? administrative divisions like regions, organs or functions, political divisions, ecology, material culture, social culture, gestures and habits also are said to be culture bound words. When we speak about cultures and habits, they also are realities. Let's remind about the Indian people's gestures. They don't exist in other nations. So that's why some cultural proverbs problems in translation, especially idioms or proverbs, it's difficult to translate. And how should we translate this kind of words? They say there are three ways: transcription, transliteration, and calque translation. So when we speak about transliteration, especially this is the different languages have different equivalents for different language letters. For example, they use the words with their oval letter. Ways of translating really can be classified into following: transliteration, calque, and transcription. Transcription is we realize them at the level of phonemes. Calque especially is presented as word for word translation. And the transcription and transliteration of calque are more convenient to translate the realities and the words. Before translating, it's very necessary to know. So before translating, it's necessary to check whether a loan from this one language into another language. You should check it. So cultural difference exists between two languages, and sometimes explicit category translation can be used by translators. For example, 13-я зарплата, annual bonus payment, say it in English language, or breadline, очередь безработных, and so on. You should give definition, explanatory translation. Sometimes they use footnotes. Look at the next screen, you can see some translators give explanation on not footnotes. For example, they put number 1, and in the footnote they explain what is Parthenon, is a temple of Athens, and so on. They give full definition. So footnotes are very important, and for translating culturally bound terms. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any question, you can ask me at any time.